Do you know how hard it was to get 10 million views like 20 years ago? You would have had to come to LA, suck 3 different gabagools, do all this to maybe have the chance for that many views.
Sign some contracts, to sell your soul, and then you're good.
We're all gonna be held accountable in front of our creator eventually. So whether you were good or bad in this life, you're gonna have to face the one who made the heavens and the earth, the one who built the sun. You're gonna have to face that creator for everything that you did.
Sonny, how did Islam shape the way you approach life and business?
Let's just start this podcast. Bismillah. Just means in the name of God.
Yes, sir.
How did Islam affect the way that I approach business? I'd say you remember that you're accountable for everything. So we believe that on the day of judgment, your hands, your feet, your tongue, your eyeballs will all testify against you for what you did in this life. One of those things being how you made your money. So it just makes you a lot more conscious of the different ways that you want to go about getting your income in. So, if I'm going to, for me, people pay me to learn how to become a TikTok shop creator, and then I make money with my creators. If I'm selling people a fake promise and then not delivering upon that, I'm going to have to be accountable for that on the day of judgment. So it just makes me take a lot more honor and pride in the businesses that I run, making sure that everything, I'm being a good example of an American Muslim. Like, people are proud to, I'm proud to work with others. They're proud to work with me. And it's just all good business. That's the main thing I'd say, is just taking more honor in it and always being a good example.
So you're saying self-accountability is like one of the most important things, because everything counts. Whatever you're doing, the little habits, the businesses that you're running, the people you're associating yourself with, everything counts in the judgment day.
Yeah, of course. We're all gonna be held accountable in front of our creator eventually. So whether you were good or bad in this life, you're gonna have to face the one who made the heavens and the earth, the one who built the sun. You're gonna have to face that creator for everything that you did. I believe you're accountable for your own sins. You're accountable for everything that you do in life.
I feel like you've had a very interesting journey with, your business and your content. With your content specifically, like initially when you started, you were like, from what I've noticed, like it was like mainly like trendy topics, and it wasn't necessary to, help people directly. And I feel like with your business currently, it's very interesting because as your audience makes money, you make money, which is very crazy. Like, I feel like that's one of the most very good way to make money, because like a lot of people, you said, like some people make money off their audience, but you make money with your audience.
Yeah, that's why I love the business model right now. It's, I obviously run a coaching offer, but I'm directly incentivized for my students to do well. Because for those of you that don't know, I run a TikTok shop creator agency. So if you want to become a TikTok shop creator with me, you'd pay me. We would coach you up through our entire process. It's like a little mini university. You've been through it. And then we connect you with the best brands on TikTok shop. You get free samples. As you rank up, you get like monthly salary with these brands as you keep progressing. And then me and you get to make money together in the process with these brands, because I'm facilitating the connection between my creators and brands. So the brands pay me for the creators as well. And then I negotiate on my creators' behalf to get you guys higher percentages. So it's a lot better than other coaching offers, in my opinion, because it's like, for other guys, it's just on your goodwill that they have to fulfill it. And, you paid me for coaching 2 years ago. And I'd like to say I tried my hardest and got fulfilled. Like, you never saw me let you down or didn't respond to anything like that. So it's not like I wasn't fulfilling before I was incentivized for my students to do well, but it's just that extra push, you know?
100%. No, I feel like working with you, I feel like a lot of people, when let's just say they pay for coaching, it's like you get a course and you just don't really hear from anything from them. Like for you, like I can definitely testify. It's like you called me multiple times, you messaged me like, oh, I like this content, oh, this content is bad, change this, do this. Like you've been, like you want to make sure that your students do well. And I feel like with the TikTok shop, it's like even more incentivization going on, because like you said, I make money, you make money, everyone progresses at the same time. Yeah,
of course. Honestly, anyone that pays me for coaching, as long as they try, they're going to make their money back, like 100%. Every single time. Like whether it's through, if I see you trying, and then like, let's say one of my friends is an editor and he needs a job, I'll connect you guys. Or one of my other creators that paid me for coaching. He now runs Fortnite maps. So he paid me to learn how to go viral with short form. He started making Fortnite maps and using the skills I taught him to market those maps. He just hit like $50,000 a month. And I just connected him with someone who's running Fortnite maps for S-tier celebrities. So he's getting connections with like, you know, people that are going to be selling out that stadium now.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Like as long as you try, it's going to be worth it at the end of the day. And personally, I mean, I've never bought into a coaching program that wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Like if you're learning information from something, it's worth it literally 100% of the time, even if you got scammed. Because if you got scammed, they used some marketing and sales tactics on you that worked. So then you can at least reflect and wonder why you bought that thing. Like the first course that I ever bought was like the Black People Forex Pyramid Scheme.
Yeah.
That was literally the first one I bought. But then I learned some things. I was like, okay, these people run a cult. These people run a cult. What good can I take from that for my own community? You know, not in a negative sense, but just to keep people more motivated and incentivized to keep going. Because especially with being a TikTok shop creator, the main thing is really just consistency. You know, a lot of people will do it for a few days to a week and then just quit, when that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Like the best creators are posting 10 plus videos a day for months. And I'm not saying with each video, it doesn't have to be a Marvel edit where it takes you 2 hours. You can spit videos out relatively quickly. It's not too insane. But to post 1-2 videos a day for a week and then be like, why is it not working? Well, you're delusional. You know, nothing works that quickly.
Yeah.
Unless you have the skill set ahead of time, you know. If you already know how to go viral and make videos, then coming in and being a TikTok shop creator, you're definitely way ahead of the curve. But for people that it's like their first time ever using their camera roll, it's going to take you a bit longer.
Yeah.
You know, your
100%.
filming XP is at like 3.
100%.
Your editing XP is 0. You have to build those up. But also when you start out, you see the most rapid growth in your content journey. Like that first 100 videos you make ever, you're going to see the biggest expansion of, you know, your XP bars going up, your filmmaking, your editing, you're talking to the camera. And then from there, it starts to plateau a bit.
Yeah.
But at the start, it's like that.
I love TikTok Shop because it's like it's like a low barrier for entry.
Yeah.
You don't have to like spend money for anything. You just need a phone, you need a product basically, and that's about it. Because like let's just say if you want to do drop shipping, if you want to do like other business models, most of them require like a decent amount of investment. But I feel like with TikTok Shop, anybody can do it. Like I've seen like older people, younger people, people from third world countries, they just post like videos of like random products and they do well.
Yeah, anyone can do it. Man, woman, old, young, whatever religion you are, black or white, doesn't matter. Everyone has their own unique marketing angle that they can take with their content. And you don't have to show your face with it. You don't even have to. You can, something that's trending right now is TikTok shop creators will start the video with something that has already done well, like a celebrity clip or something. Marlon, that guy's trending right now. He's just like some good looking dude streamer. So they'll start like the first 15 seconds with him getting hit on by girls and like smiling and his teeth are white. And then it'll just go to a faceless video where the person's like, and this teeth whitening shit is what he uses and blah, blah, blah. And then do a call to action. So the fundamental principles of being a TikTok shop creator are very simple. You have a hook, you show some social proof, meaning like before and after, a celebrity using it, your own personal review, and then you overcome some objections, maybe like, does this work? Or free shipping, whatever, it depends on the product, like whatever objection there could be. And then you just do a strong call to action, pushing people to buy. And that's really it. It's basic fundamental, like it's the basics that are in TV commercials, that are on ads you see on your phone, billboards, literally everything. It's the same stuff.
No, it's a very simple process, I noticed, because as long as you just follow the like the actual steps, like without anything crazy, like you don't have to necessarily go viral, because I did TikTok shop for like, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks consistently, and I got sales. And I had 0 videos that went viral, but I still got sales.
Yeah.
So imagine, like I've heard you say, like some videos when they go, like most of the videos are not going to perform well, but the ones that they do, they're going to drive most of your sales.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you can't get sales without any viral videos.
Yeah. It's going to be 5% of your videos that generate 90+% of your sales. So you only get that 5% of videos by posting a bunch, you know? Same thing with anything else. With you being a YouTube creator, with posting short form content, the majority of your audience is going to know you from this little thing. They're not going to see all that other work you did. They're going to see that one video that got 10 million views, and that's who's going to be stopping you on the street.
Exactly.
You know?
What made you make that switch from like posting, you know, like reaction videos and public interviews to like more cinematic, like artistic videos?
Honestly, the kind of views you get, they hold a different weight to it. It's like there's that number of how many views you get, but it's like if you dive a bit deeper, it's like there's an aura XP to it.
Yeah.
And posting mom reacts videos, it got a lot of views. Like I think it got over 600, 700 million views just in the mom reacts era alone, but they didn't hold much weight. Like it doesn't have cultural relevance in that sense.
Yeah.
People aren't going to be I didn't even get stopped in the street. Like I was getting millions of views a day and no one was coming up to me in the street or anything like that. Cause it's just, people don't care as much. It's just like some other shit they're seeing on their feed. You know what I'm saying? That one upgrade your character video I made, it got 1 million views long form, but like everyone I meet, it's just, even to this day, they still talk about it. That 1 5-minute video, So it's like, those reaction videos, yeah, they got a lot of views, but the aura XP was lower. That one video that I put a week and a half into, the views were like pretty similar, but the aura XP is 1,000 times higher. That one video has made me probably over $500,000 alone.
So you're saying focus on the aura of the video rather than just views.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a balance for sure. Like you have your bag of tricks that you can pull from. So some of your videos you put a lot more effort into and make them super cinematic. Some are a bit more raw. Some are, just live streams and reactions and stuff. But having that balance is what's really healthy for sure. Because just doing one, I'd say isn't ideal. Like just going one route, it's good. It's healthy to mix it up. Like I've gone viral with everything. I've done reaction videos, public interviews, stocks, crypto, NFTs, real estate, stand-up comedy, fucking short films, bro, a mix of like business advice stuff, vlogs, literally every niche imaginable. So at this point, I'm just doing what I'm thinking long-term for my brand, what I want to be doing, Do
you feel like, let's just say someone who wants to start, creating content, do you think they should focus on more of like a long-term vision, or you think they should just do whatever they feel like maybe like they're going to enjoy in the beginning, so maybe they can rack up some XP, learn some new skills, and then they can go to something else?
I think people just need to start posting. Like if you want to make content, just start making stuff, because you're just going to keep getting better with every video that you make. I'd set a goal with yourself, like I'm going to post every day for X amount of days, and then just stick to it and keep going at it. Whether it's public interviews or, you set up a tripod and you just talk to the camera, or you try like different camera angles and being a bit fancier with it. Maybe you test some new editing strategies. Just if you stay consistent with it and you're constantly analyzing the content you make to improve and get better, you're going to make it eventually, especially if you tie in studying other people. One of the biggest things that I teach is don't reinvent the wheel. Like simply getting views and going viral, you can just look at what other people do and do it better in your own way.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a Reels format, thumbnails, titles. My first YouTube video ever, Mom Reacts to Andrew Tate's Craziest Takes, I got 300,000 views on a brand new channel.
Yeah.
Why? I saw Cuff Boys was the biggest Mom Reacts YouTuber at the time. So I took the concept of Mom Reacts, and then Andrew Tate was the most trending figure. So I took this piece from Cuff Boys, Andrew Tate's the most trending thing, mashed them together, and then all I needed was the thumbnail. Sneeko was trending at the time, copied his thumbnail style. It's just like, if you can start to look at what other people do well and just pick them apart, then you make your own collage, and people don't even realize you took inspiration from others.
Yeah.
All the greatest filmmakers, Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, they didn't just sit and meditate and come up with how to make a movie. They watched other people, took inspiration, grabbed it from here, this Japanese filmmaker, this guy, and it creates their own beautiful formula,
Yeah, I feel like even if you try to copy, at the end of the day, it comes out slightly different. You can never really copy like 100%.
Yeah.
And I feel like whenever, one thing you said is like, try to take inspiration from other creators. And whenever I've done that, I've gotten way better results. It can be titles, it can be thumbnails, even if like the slightest things, as you said, if it's working, you can just put it in your own way, add like a unique aspect to it, and then usually works better.
And it comes down to everything. Like, if you see every single video that pops up under your phone has a hook, whether it's a question or a statement, you're not going to start your video with like you scratching your ass and waiting 3 seconds to talk. You're going to start your video at the right point. It comes down to literally everything. a common issue I see with, creators that come in that have no experience with making videos before, like TikTok shop people, is they'll make the captions take up like the whole screen, or they'll do like that weird swirl transition in between cuts. And I'm like, you'll never see that on your feed ever, You don't just add things and effects for the sake of adding things. You do it with intention. So yeah, it's like, it blows. I've said this so many times, but everyone I know has basically consumed at least 1,000 hours of short form content in their life. Like, if your brain was just on and you picked apart hooks and where captions are, and if they used audios and just like the flow of videos, you would literally be a short form marketing expert.
Yeah.
If you spend that much time on any other skill, you would be in the top 0.1%. But people consume nonstop and they don't have their fucking brain on. They don't think about what they're watching. So they're just wasting time. Flies by like that. It's crazy.
I feel like with you started young. Like you started when you were like 15, 16, right?
I mean, I was making videos when I was 13 with like trick shot stuff. And it didn't get real traction. Yeah. We had like 2,000 followers. But that was before short form content. Like there was no reels or anything back then. Like we had a trick shot page where we'd like throw basketballs off of roofs and stuff. And so we were just like DMing Dude Perfect nonstop, being like, "Can you repost us and shit?"
Yeah.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
But it also wasn't as easy back then to go viral. Now you can literally have one reel that gets 10 million views and changes your life forever. Do you know how hard it was to get 10 million views like 20 years ago? You would have had to come to LA, suck 3 different gabagools, do all this to maybe have the chance for that many views.
Sign some contracts, to sell your soul, and then you're good.
The fact that you can just post a reel and, a legitimate percentage of America can see your content is mind-boggling. Truly mind-boggling.
Like, since you've been doing it since you were young, like, you kind of change your identity. You're like, you see everything as a creator, right?
Yeah.
So when you, like, scroll on your phone, you're like, oh, like, this hook works. I like this one. Or, like, I like this way of captions or filming. Like, you kind of analyze things because, like, you live as the creator, right? And I feel like a lot of people, when they consume content, they're not conscious of like, oh, I'm just like scrolling, but they're not conscious because they haven't embodied that like creator mode, like they're not like living as a creator.
Same thing with movies. Like after I've made some short films, when I watch movies, you start thinking about the logistics of like, how the fuck does the camera move that way and the lighting and this and that. And it just blows your mind watching it. Or that's why I really love Martin Scorsese. Like a lot of people say that my short films kind of feel like they have that kind of Scorsese aura to it. And I think it's just because when I'm watching his movies, I'm just a sponge to it. I just take it in, and then it just pours out of me when I'm writing. I can't really help it. I feel like a really big thing too is tapping into your aura. Like if you tried to be the Italian, how you doing, and pulling that, it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
because that's just not you.
Exactly.
That's what fits with me, and I'm blessed because I just love that kind of content too. I think it's funny, but me trying to be some Andrew Tate or Iman Gadzhi, like that's just not me.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you have to be authentic because there's layers to the content game. At some point, like viewers can feel energy through the camera if you're being sincere or you're not, and they'll stop watching you if you're being inauthentic or insincere. If something comes off as fake, your whole audience will die like that.
100%.
You've seen plenty of people with millions of subscribers get no views, nothing. So.
How do you make sure that you're always authentic? Because I know authenticity is a huge thing. And I feel like I've seen a lot of people, they kind of copy each other. And I know it's kind of like, copying, like not changing anything, like kind of like not reinventing the wheel. But also I feel like they just like copy the whole persona of the person rather than just following their systems.
Yeah, every streamer nowadays copies each other to a T. They all, everyone talks the same.
Chat.
Everyone's doing, they're even sharing the same girls.
Yeah.
Can you at least get different OnlyFans girls? You got to have the same ones. Are you kidding me? I don't know. It's the same segments, cooking stream, Disney. Like, it's hard to watch because in the fabric of space and time, this streaming era is dust. It's dust, bro. This is nothing. Do you think they're going to write about, OnlyFans e-dates in the history books? No. They're going to write about actual art. Stuff that people can watch for centuries.
100%.
I feel like a lot of things with creators is they get too wrapped up in the now. of like, I need views tomorrow, I need clicks, I need clicks, I need clicks, rather than trying to build for legacy. I think that's why I love Sneeko so much as a friend, because everything he does is just dope. Like the fact that he's out there with Kanye right now, living his literal dream. Like on his arm, he has one of Kanye's songs. I don't know, The Waves or whatever the fuck you call it. It's literally tattooed on him, and he's chilling there with Kanye right now, working on his stuff. Like, that's so dope, and that's so inspirational to me to be his friend and just be able to think bigger. Because I don't know, maybe a lot of people, you know, when they watch influencers online, they don't look at them like real people.
Yeah.
I see, you know, he's a real guy. You see him all the time. You know, I see like the human side to him. So it just it shows in my head like anything is really possible. I can do whatever I want, you know?
100%.
And just doing stuff for legacy, man. Like, here's the thing. To start, you have to just post something, okay? To get like your first few thousand followers, to hit 10K a month, don't reinvent the wheel. Look at what other people are doing. Do it better yourself. Once you can breathe, you don't have to work a job. You can make some money from your content and stuff. That's when you can really start thinking to build for legacy, in my opinion. And like start thinking outside of the box. But just to get warmed up and started and get the ball rolling, that's where I typically say, like, don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If that makes sense. Even as a TikTok shop creator, like to get to $10,000 a month, just look at what other people are doing well, literally, and just do the same thing. And then past like that $10,000 to $20,000 a month mark, if you want to hit 100K a month as a TikTok shop creator, that's where you take the fundamentals and start thinking of new ideas and pioneering new marketing angles. You know, like the first person to grab streamer clips and then mix it in with a call to action that they film, that first person was probably making $100,000, $200,000 a month profit because they pioneered that.
Yeah.
But it's still the same basics of using social proof. They just used a different type of social proof. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I feel like especially with AI nowadays, you can analyze videos and scripts and editing ways. Like, it's just like crazy how much AI can help us do that. You know, like I feel like analyzing other people and learning from other people is like a huge thing. And it's interesting because you mentioned Sneeko. He's like one of my favorite YouTubers, like back in the days when he was still on YouTube. Like I like these old like artistic films, you know, like what are some of the names I forgot? Moonwalking in Paris, I think.
In Queens, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those videos, like, or like Fake It Till You Make It. And it's funny, like, cause like he, as a person, he grew a lot, and he's like transitioning to more like, you know, mainstream content, like, you know, going on Piers Morgan and, you know, videos with Kanye. It's like, it's crazy how much making content can change your life.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it's always where the eyeballs are at the end of the day. Like, nobody cares about mainstream celebrities anymore. Yeah. Anytime you see someone on a billboard or in Hollywood, you just know they got diddied. Like, it's not even impressive anymore. Yeah. Nobody cares. Everyone wants like these streamers, the FaZe guys, for example, they're way more famous than any of those people in Hollywood. If they both walk down the street, the FaZe people would get stopped way more. You know? Like, there's so many people probably on fucking HBO and in the movies that if they walked like together with Sneeko in Manhattan, Sneeko will get stopped 100 times more than them. Yeah. But he hasn't sold his soul to go mainstream.
Makes sense.
He doesn't get all those connections. He doesn't get to go on Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. Have you ever been offered some sketchy deals, you know, like that was against your principles and your values?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, everyone. Yeah, for sure. I'd say with selling your soul, it's not like you don't just get a contract necessarily. It's like, you know, something is wrong and you do it anyways. Absolutely. You know? Mm-hmm. It's more so in the spiritual sense. So like all these guys with gambling deals, you're messing up big time right now, bro. Like, to make all your money from your audience losing money gambling, you're a scumbag, bro.
That is crazy.
I don't care how much you then give away in videos and in streams and stuff. It's not making up for it. And in Islam, actually, you could make $1 billion from casinos or in a haram way, give it all away, and you still won't get any blessings for it. If you make your money unethically, it has no blessings from God.
Yeah.
And in the Quran, well, I don't know if it's in the Quran, but we know that money made in a halal way, it actually holds more weight. Like, it goes further. And I see that with my own eyes all the time, especially when I'm traveling. You'll see families with 7 kids and they make like $1,000 to $2,000 a month, and they have a roof over their head and they're eating every night. And like, God provides for them, you know? And then you'll see people making $200,000 a month with, you know, Prize Picks ads and shit. And they're running out of money. Like, they're always chasing their own tail. It never, it's like, it's hard to explain, but it seems like the water just evaporates for them, while the people that make it in the right way, like, the water keeps flowing and coming back.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like no matter what situation you're going through, like, you cannot, like, let go of your principles and your honor, because that's all you have.
Yeah.
There was this movie, like, I was talking to my cousin about this movie, like, it's called The Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, the Crusaders and stuff. And there was this quote, like, King Baldwin, I think he said, he's like, all you have in this world is your word and your soul, you know, like something like that. And then he's like, no matter who's above you, who has power above you, that's the only thing you have, your soul and your principles and your values, basically. So I fully agree with that, man. Because I know, like, a lot of people get, like, offered, like, streaming, like, OnlyFans management deals.
Yeah. I've gotten 6 figures a month.
Yeah.
I've gotten offered 6 figures a month for casino and OnlyFans deals, and I've never taken it.
Yeah.
In my life. Bro, there's so many. All right, so in Islam, you get revelation from God about rulings. So, like, don't eat pork, don't sleep around outside of marriage, don't make money in a haram way. The simple answer to why you don't do those things is because God simply said so. But then deeper, you can extract different wisdoms from why that is, okay?
Yeah.
So, like, for pork, for example, you don't eat pork because they eat their own shit, they're disgusting, and you can't kill them in a halal way. They have to suffer when they die. So even with halal, like, it means with eating halal, it just means the animal didn't suffer.
Yeah.
Basically. So you're consuming more peaceful energy. Like, when the animal dies, it's not pumped up with adrenochrome. It's killed peacefully, and you're consuming that peaceful energy. So, for example, with making money in a halal way, there's a bunch of different wisdoms we can extract from that. You can see it in the physical sense that the money leaves quicker. So it doesn't even fulfill you. So it doesn't keep you sustained. You know, it doesn't fulfill you. How many celebrities and, you know, big entrepreneurs do you need to see shoot themselves in the face before you realize that's not what fixes you? And then you're going to be held accountable in front of your creator for it. So just logically, it's not even, you could offer me $1 billion, you know, to promote gambling, and I wouldn't do it. Like, it literally does not matter the amount of money. There's no price on my soul because I'm not attached to this world, bro. Like I said, we're on Spawn Island right now, you know? Imagine you're on Spawn Island and someone's like, here, compromise your soul for a mini or a big pot.
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, I'm on Spawn Island. Why would I do that? Like, I'm about to be out of here. I don't take this stuff with me. What's the big deal?
Exactly.
You know?
This, like, law, it's called the law of accumulation. Like, everything you do counts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, like, basically the same concept. It's like, if you do something good today, it's going to add up. If you do something bad today, it's going to also add up. Yeah. And, you know, like, at the end of the day, when we, like, you know, leave this planet, like, everything we did is going to show. Like, we're gonna understand all, like, how much you messed up or how much good works you did, you know?
Yeah.
So I hope, like, a lot of people, like, I remember this, like, 2-3 years ago. I had a friend that he knew a guy that it was, like, making crazy money with OnlyFans, like, managing girls and stuff. He was like, oh, like, he's my close friend. Let's go talk to him. He's gonna put us on. And, like, at the time, I was like, in my mind, I was like, I know it's gonna make me good money for sure, but nah, it's not for me. It's against my values, so I didn't do it.
That's good.
Yeah, and I feel like at times a lot of people kind of sacrifice their now, like, the struggles of now. And they're like, you know what, like, I'd rather not struggle, but, you know, go against my principles than, you know, suffer and actually stay within my, you know, principles.
What do you think happens after death personally? Do you believe in Judgment Day in the sense that you're going to be, you know, judged on how you did here?
Yeah. Honestly, like, I'm very 50-50 on that. Like, I know, like, I was born and raised in a Christian family. So I feel like there is things that we're going to be accounted for and we're going to be held accountable. So I believe, like, that's kind of sort of related to, like, Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
But I also kind of, like, struggle to, you know, like, not resonate, struggle to
conceptualize,
like, why would people go to hell and heaven?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like God is, like, almighty. He knows, he's, like, very intelligent, knows that people are fallible. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to do messed up stuff. So my mind is like, if he knows it, like, why would be, like, a, you know, a hell or a heaven? And from my mind, I feel like it's more of, like, a state of consciousness, like the way you are right now. It's like, if you do, like, messed up stuff, you're gonna be in, like, you're gonna feel bad. Like, you feel bad if you do, like, something bad. If you steal, if you lie, there's gonna be that guilt inside you. That's, from my experience, I feel like that's, like, the hell that you're talking about, like the internal state that you're living every day. And if you do drugs, if you do like gambling, promote gambling, it's gonna build up for you. And you're gonna just be living in a dark place.
Well, that's the irony of it, is that like it's not good for you in this life or the next. So you get this material stuff that'll never fulfill you. I personally believe we're spiritual beings just living a mere human existence. I don't think we're ever going to be fulfilled in this life. There's no amount of money. You could have the most beautiful girl in the world and you're going to want, the redhead once in a while. It doesn't matter. I believe we're meant to, that this life is a test, and the real fulfillment where everything gets better is the afterlife. I think that's where we're truly meant to be fulfilled.
No, I get that 100%. I feel like there was this one book that I read. It was called The Universe is Entirely Mental. It was like a bunch of chapters. It was like kind of about like universal laws. And then it was like everything is mental. So everything that's happening within us, that's what brings us to here. Like if you do messed up things, if you go, do quote unquote bad things, you're going to feel that energy. And it's going to reflect it in your life. It's like as within, as without. So if you're a messed up person, if you do like shady things, it's going to reflect it in your life. You're going to get a life sentence, or you're going to suffer bad situations. I don't know, maybe people attacking you, like it reflects externally. Like whatever you have internally, it reflects externally.
For sure. I mean, you're Christian. So like, do you believe like Jesus paid for your sins? Is that a belief that you hold, or?
I was born and raised in Christian family, but I can't say I practice it fully. Like I don't go to church. But I fully believe like in a higher power, God. I know people are gonna be like, maybe Christians are gonna flame me, but from my experience, I don't feel like a human can be God, right? And I personally, for me, I love all religions in the sense of like I can absorb wisdom from all religions, and I don't necessarily like to put myself in a box, but I know for a fact all religions have like a lot of like great information in it, as long as you're like able to get it, like understand it, learn from it, and apply. Like for example. Stealing, lying, doing all the bad things that everybody knows, like the 10 commandments, like when you go against it, like you notice like, it's bad. Like you don't have to like, you don't have to necessarily be punished for it like right now to understand, like, or like afterlife, like everybody knows that.
In Islam, it's called your innate fitrah. So you have an innate knowledge of right and wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant.
Yeah. So there's another layer to that. Like we also have our innate fitrah to connect with one creator. Like humans naturally know there's only one God. And logically speaking, you can prove that. First off, the existence of God can be proven that creation, molecules, the sun, the laws of physics, this couldn't have just come to be without an intelligent creator that made it, okay? Then the actual definition of God is can't be born and can't die. So God's outside of time in itself. You get what I'm saying? It's hard to conceptualize, but if you keep going, like God created the way that we even perceive time. You get what I'm saying? He didn't create the clock. He created the fact that clock moves. So if you were to keep going back and back and back and back and be like, this thing created this and this created this and this happened and this happened and this happened, you could go back infinitely, but there has to be something separated from the simulation to have created it all. And there can only be one. Because, like I said, the idea of God is it can't be created. You get what I'm saying? So when people, like Christians, a common point they'll say is, you're limiting God by saying he can't become a man. And it's not that I'm limiting God. It's just that it goes against the nature of God. Like, God tells us in the Quran that he is unlike anything of creation. The creator, you can't even conceptualize him. This is God. You can't look at the sun for more than 3 seconds, let alone the creator of the sun. You get what I'm saying? And so, where was I going with it? I mean, the basics, bro, like in Islam, like it's the only religion, like you worship truly nothing but that one creator.
I don't believe that God is a person. Like I feel like it's something that we cannot comprehend. And it's just, God is in everything and he's everything.
Yeah. Oh, what I was going to say is that like we believe that basically all these religions initially came from Allah. So God gave Moses the Torah, God gave Jesus the Gospels, and though what was given to them was not perfectly preserved, humans tampered it. And I mean, you can prove this. Like Paul, for example, who wrote a third of the Bible, he never met Jesus in his physical form. He supposedly met Jesus in a dream, and then he came and changed a bunch of rulings like, salvation through faith, original sin, all these different things. So, a lot of Christians and Catholics today are really followers of Paul. They're not necessarily followers of Jesus. And so as a Muslim, I believe that Jesus is the Messiah. He was sent here to show us how to be better people, show us the word of God. All these things, we just don't agree that Jesus is God. We think that God sent Jesus. That's literally the only difference.
Religion, history, I feel like a lot of things have been like edited, and it's not like a lot of things have been changed because of politics, wars,
Yeah,
you know? And
I-
there is this part that like, I don't know if like you've heard, like Jesus was like in India and a bunch of different countries studying a bunch of different religions and practices. Like then he came back to, Middle East, and he was like teaching that. And he never was like, oh, worship me. Like he was like practicing, like basically saying like, follow God. Maybe, who knows, maybe during wars or, certain things happen and like people started using, I feel like religion was used a lot to control people. But it's not that religion was the issue. It was the people who were using and manipulating it to, hold people, in, certain low level like classes or whatever.
There's corruption in
Yeah.
every religion.
But I don't
There's
think it's the religion problem. It's the people who were like, forcing it into people,
Yeah, no, of course. There's corruption in every single religion. In Islam, in Christianity, other religions as well that I don't want to name. The difference with Islam is that the actual holy book hasn't changed. So the Quran, are you familiar with like anything about it really, or
I mean, I
or
was
like the
born,
formation of it?
not a lot. I was born and raised in a Islamic country in Iran, but
Okay.
I've never really studied the book, so I cannot really speak on that.
Yeah. Are you familiar with like who wrote the Quran?
It was revealed by God, right?
Yeah, like it's first person God talking to humanity.
I have a question for that, but continue.
Yeah, of course. So it came down over 23 years. So it'd be like something was happening in Mecca at the time of the Prophet, and a verse would come down, be revealed to him. He'd go into the town, the scholars would write it down, and so over that 20 years, it was compiled. Since then, people have memorized the entire book. They're called Hafiz. So they memorized the entire book, and that's how we know from today that the Quran is completely preserved. It's the same exact words since the time of the Prophet because of oral tradition. So since then, you could have burned every Quran every single day, and it would stay consistent because people have it up here. And that's one of the miracles of it, is that it was revealed in Arabic, and that it's like a song, So at the time of the Prophet, the Arabic people were like the best, or Arabs were the best poets in the world. So when it was coming down, like, they either thought it was witchcraft or something, or it was from God. They were like, this, he didn't just write this. Especially with the way it was compiled, like I said. It was chapter 1, verse 1, chapter 30, verse 4, chapter 2, verse 7. It was coming down like this, not in chronological order. So,
correct me if I'm wrong, but like Muslims believe that the Quran was revealed by God, right?
correct, yeah.
And I'm not sure, but like, did somebody write it, or it was just like found?
No, all right, so the Prophet, the first verse was revealed right outside of Mecca, and he was meditating in a cave where it was on top of a mountain. He was fasting, and the reason he went to that spot specifically is because at that time, Mecca, it was surrounded by idol worshippers. So around the Kaaba, they had like 250 gods, statues that they used to worship. And so from that point of the mountain, it was the only point where he could see the Kaaba and not all the different idols. So that's why he was there specifically. The way it was revealed to him, he explains it like it was etched onto his heart. So the angel Gabriel, which we believe is the Holy Spirit, is the messenger of God. Even in the Bible, angel Gabriel is the one that revealed Revelation. I believe, don't take my word on this. Please do your own research. Please do not, please. I believe he's the one that let Mother Mary know that she was going to be given Jesus, stuff like that. So the way Islam, all right, because I have to explain like what angels are for you to really understand. Angels don't have free will. So they're almost like code in the simulation. Like if God tells them to do something, they have to do it. They can't disobey God. So there's humans with free will. There's jinn, which are spirits, the unseen world. They have free will. They're going to be judged too. And then there's angels, which are like the NPCs, the code. Okay? So that's why the Quran was revealed through the angel Gabriel, because it's the direct words of God, but you can't directly see God. You get what I'm saying? So he sent it through the code, essentially. It was etched onto the prophet's heart, as we believe. And that's how it was revealed to him. So he would be like one little verse at a time. He'd memorize it, be like, all right, am I good to go? Okay, go into the town, say it, and then, it would keep coming down over 20 years.
So it took like almost 3 decades to finish everything.
Yeah, over 2 decades for the whole Quran to actually come down. It wasn't just like, he didn't just memorize it all at once like that.
Interesting. Yeah, like a lot. I've heard a lot of like this the stories and the history behind it, but I've never really like gone too much in depth in it. So I'm learning as you're saying, So I feel like with religions, I really like the idea of just like being able to just study from everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like, as you said, like everybody has that the
Innate desire to.
innate desire for God, and like to to do the right thing, And I feel like personally for me, I haven't been, I guess, in a situation or in a certain, something hasn't really sparked that in me to like commit to a certain religion. Obviously, I was born and raised in, Orthodox Christianity. It's like more, it's slightly different because the Armenians, like, it's a slightly different Christianity that the ones that we follow, and it's basically the first one because Armenians were the first nation to, adopt Christianity.
Mhm.
Like that was like, I think, a couple of years after basically Jesus sent his disciples everywhere. Like Armenia was the first country to adopt it, and I feel like with Armenian Christianity, it's way more preserved, the original forms. So one thing I still don't understand, it's like, the Trinity. And for me, it's like very confusing because like the English and the Farsi and the Armenian, everything gets mixed up. So there's like a lot of angles to go about it. But I feel like with the Trinity itself, from my understanding, it's basically how things can be in different forms, but still be the same thing, if it makes sense, right? So I feel like all of us are, as you said, like we have like, the spirit side, the physical side, and the mental side, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like everything, when it comes together, it becomes one, And I feel like Jesus, I don't think he was God, but I think he was, trying to give that understanding to people. And I feel like probably at some point either it was mistaken or maybe it was, flip-flop, like maybe with different people or governments. But I feel like he was genuinely trying to help people understand there's like a mental plane, physical plane, spiritual plane, and you gotta do good things, on this plane, be mentally good. So like everything just connects. And when you do that, like you just naturally connect to God. And
Of course,
as
yeah.
everybody just knows that God is real, in my opinion,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can deny God because, like I said, creation doesn't come without a creator. So the main thing you got to realize, like, after you recognize that there's a God, is just, I guess what's the true message? What's, like, the preserved message from the creator?
What have you noticed from going to like the Middle Eastern countries? Because you've gone to a lot of different countries and you've been outside of America a lot, and I feel like a lot of people that are in America, they don't necessarily have that understanding of how people live on the day-to-day basis. They just have an understanding, like in the Middle East, people drop bombs, or like terrorists this, terrorists that. Or in Europe, it's like, they don't really do anything. They just like, just kick it around, like they don't do anything. Like you've been around a lot, so like you have like a good perspective. So I just want you to share, what's been your experience?
My experience in the Middle East. First off, I'll say that anyone that kills an innocent person, that hits their wife, they're going to hell. Like, according to Islam, those people are going straight to hell. It even says in the Quran, like, if you hurt an innocent soul, it's as if you hurt all of humanity. If you even hurt an animal, it's as if you hurt a human. It's that strict. Like, all of God's creation, you're supposed to be extremely, extremely respectful towards it. So even when people say stuff like Islamic terrorism and this and that, it's like, that's not Islamic. According to Islam, these people would have their heads chopped off if you, like, touch a woman the wrong way. You're not even supposed to look at women with a lustful eye. Like, so my experience in the Middle East, it was cool, honestly. It was just a different culture. Something else I like about Islam is that, like, I'm dressed fine right now. Like, you don't have to wear a thobe and sandals and stuff. I'm dressed completely fine. I could pray in these clothes right now. I'm in no bad standing with God. You get what I'm saying? So it's just really, it was a different culture. That was the main thing. It was really cool hearing the call to prayer every day. That's something that I really definitely miss 5 times a day. Like, you can't miss it. You can't miss it. Because here, it's sometimes, you're doing some work. You're like, okay, after I do this task, I'll pray. And then it goes by, and you're like, I missed it. So very hospitable people for the most part. I never felt like unwelcome or anything because I'm white. Never once. So yeah, it was definitely cool. It was really cool to see.
What difference have you noticed from the people, the way they were living their life in the Middle East and here? We can talk about like, you know, the degeneracy,
Just
the
God
overall,
conscious,
yeah.
bro. It's really just God conscious. I feel like a lot of Muslims that truly practice, they're disconnected from the simulation and really just thinking about, the afterlife. That's the big thing because that's what's eternal, bro. At the end of the day, this life is short. In the grand scheme of things, in an eternal afterlife, this is literally a blink of an eye. Literally a blink of an eye. So, you know, not getting too attached to what's called the dunya. That's like this. It's so cool how it's explained in Islam because it's like we're on the testing grounds right now. Like if there's different maps in a video game, like we're just in the testing grounds, and it's like we're gonna elevate to the next one, or if you're a shit person, you go below. Um, what was the question again?
Like, what was the difference with the lifestyle of people in the Middle East and over here? You
Yeah,
know?
God consciousness. Definitely just like modesty in itself. I know a lot of Americans get turned off by modesty. They think like they're being forced to. Personally, from all the Muslim women that I've talked to, especially the ones that don't wear the hijab, they're like praying to God that they get the strength to do it because they don't want to wear the hijab or be covered up in public and have the threat of someone like attacking them for dressing that way. That's a common thing, and it's not like women are forced to wear it. From what I've seen, maybe some strict households they force them to wear it, but that happens all across the globe in every culture. Dad's like, "Why are you wearing that? Put some clothes on." It's not just Islamic nations. So modesty, God consciousness. What else? Just a sense of hospitality too. Like when you're a brother in faith with. So there's 3 different ways you can really be brothers with someone. Brothers, by blood. You're my brother in humanity, and brothers in faith. So to have that other layer of, connection with someone else where you pray together, it's unbelievable, bro, honestly. Like I remember growing up in high school and college, you'd only really be telling your boys you love them when you get hammered. "I love you, bro. Make it. We're gonna move to Miami." And so you had to get drunk to tell your boy you love him. That's so empty. That's sad, bro. Like I pray together with my boys, like we clean ourselves, we stop what we're doing, we put our head on the ground. When you do that 5 times a day, like you feel like you're floating, it's different.
Those meaningful things definitely build those real connections, like praying, going to the gym, like eating together, like going on a walk, just relaxing things that's like peaceful, like I feel like when you do those things, you just unconsciously you just connect to God because it is the right thing that you're doing.
Yeah, when you're just a human.
Yeah. And I feel like in America, one thing that you mentioned, I'm thinking about is like people don't like modesty. And personally, for me, it's like maybe when I was younger, it's like, oh yeah, that girl is hot, like she's wearing this, that. But now it's like,
It's disgusting.
yeah, it's like, why are you wearing that? Like, I'm not even like religious, but it's like,
Just sad, bro.
yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
It's just really sad. Especially like, dude, I had to delete Instagram. Like I can't stand women popping up on my feed and stuff. Because sometimes you get caught looking at it, Nobody's perfect. You're fighting a mental war every time you look at your phone. With the most advanced, technology people in the world fighting and engineering to keep your attention. That's who you're competing with. So it's hard, bro. And the algorithm's so smart, bro. It's got brunettes with a great body. Like it knows, dude. It knows. So I had to just delete the app sometimes just to get a full reset. Because like, it's just disgusting, bro. It's just disgusting. Like, it's sad, man. It's sad. Like, if I'm talking to a girl, I won't even see a picture of her that most of women nowadays post online for the world. She would never even send me something that close. No one sees that of her until she's married. And it's just like, you just know there's damage there. That's kind of the sad thing with all these girls on OnlyFans and posting themselves in bikinis. Is you just know that that's a symptom of not having a father or a strong masculine role model in your life. It's just like, you can just see trauma, And it's just sad, especially like when you see beautiful women with tattoos. I'm just like, ooh, why are you putting bumper stickers on Bentleys? If I was president, I would ban women from getting tattoos.
Everybody shouldn't get tattoos, in my opinion. I think it's just,
I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, women first, ban in that one.
With social media, it's weird because people get validation from doing certain things, like girls posting their bodies. And unfortunately, as much as like they posted, a lot of guys, they reward them, So
Yeah. And those guys, you deserve the worst, bro. All of you that follow Summer Rae and Livy Dunn and all these girls, you Brecky Hill, you guys are the worst of men on this earth. All of you. These OnlyFans girls shouldn't have any followers. The fact that there's millions is so sad. And if you're a girl watching this and a guy does follow OnlyFans hoes, you shouldn't be talking to him. Straight up. I don't follow any women. I don't follow any at all. Like, I think if you really, and it's about your aura, bro. Like, you want to protect your aura and keep high value to your attention. Like, if you actually care about getting a high quality woman, just unfollow all of them. Unfollow all of them. They'll naturally come your way, and it's going to be better ones. And here's the thing, too. When you do stuff like that, then naturally you can demand more with a girl. Like, if I'm talking to a girl and she follows guys, I don't follow women, I don't have to beg her to unfollow people. I'm just like, why do you follow men? Like, I don't follow women. And then if she's a good girl, she'll just unfollow them. You shouldn't even have to ask her. If she gives you a hard time, definitely don't. Never want to beg a girl to be a good girl. We were talking about that earlier.
I feel like at some point you have to have that discernment to understand, okay, like, is she good for me? Is she bad for me? And I don't know how it goes in Islam, but I feel like I'm a big believer of just going on dates, but you don't have to do anything crazy. Just go on dates, talk to people, like see like what kind of background they're coming from, their family connections, what's their story, their values, their goals. I feel like that's how you actually connect and make the best relationships, you know? And if you make mistakes in the earlier stages, it usually shows later on, you know? So I feel like you have to have that discernment earlier on to judge like certain, you know, good aspects and bad aspects.
Definitely. Definitely, yeah. First thing I look for, you definitely want to look for modesty in a girl, her relationship with God. Does she have a strong masculine influence in her life? How did you meet her? What's her social media look like? Basic stuff, bro, honestly.
It's funny because like a lot of guys, they may go to clubs and, you know, like those places are like, oh, I'm going to find my girlfriend.
You're an idiot, bro. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Yeah, you're not meeting good girls at clubs. No. There's like dude, you know what's even sad too? Like girls with Bible quotes in their bios. It's like the biggest hoes I know. Nurses, Bible quotes in bios. Run away, bro. Run away. Look bro, here's the thing too. Like everyone sins. Everyone slips. The main thing is you just genuinely have to you have to feel guilt. If you don't feel guilt and you don't feel shame after, touching yourself or doing something with the woman, that's when you should really be scared. That's when you should be scared. Because that means the Creator took that away from you. He took that guilt out of your heart. So now you're just left sinning. You're astray. You are seriously astray. Since the dawn of time, sexual immorality has been the biggest sin, and we don't see that at all today. I say online, I'm not sleeping with any women until I'm married, and I'm the crazy extremist. What? That makes no sense. It's only the last 50 years where this shit's normal. We're sleeping around with everyone and looking at boobs and pixels all day and porn. Like, I'm the crazy one for not doing that. How does that make any sense?
I feel like even for guys, like, it's just I don't see any benefit of just sleeping around. It's just stupid.
Yeah, it's empty. Dude, I'm not saying I have, but like once you're really connected with God and you slip up in a sexual sense, it feels like you shot someone, bro. Like you literally killed someone. So that's why it's surreal for me to see people just going around and sleeping with every different girl and this and that and just feeling no shame. It's the same thing with like, if you're scrolling on social media, if you don't feel guilt like you're wasting your life when you're scrolling, you're cooked. You're cooked. You're past saving. But if you at least feel some shame, like, damn, I just wasted an hour of my life. Let me make a piece of content or let me do some push-ups or something. Then you can still make it. But the people that like feel no guilt or shame with anything, NGMI, bro, not gonna make it. They're cooked.
You know what's crazy? Like with this term situationships and stuff, like people get into this fake relationships that has basically no goal for it. They're just like spending time together, wasting time together, and there's no point. Literally, they're just wasting human connection, energy, time, resources for nothing. And I feel like those are the things when they get normalized. Like if you go on social media, you'll be shocked like how many people like promote this type of behavior, like there's certain things that it's like has no value, serves nothing, it's not for love. It's just for instant gratification. It's for lust. It doesn't provide anything.
Yeah, brother. At the end of the day, you would track who's on your wavelength. So if you're a man that follows Brecky Hill and you're watching porn and playing with yourself, you don't feel shame when, you commit sexual immorality, you're going to attract the dumb bitch, bro. Straight up. You're going to attract a girl that's been sleeping around, that lies, that's not feminine, doesn't want to take care of you, isn't submissive, because you don't deserve that submission, you know? It's like, I feel like you could very clearly see it. If you were to rate your masculinity 1 to 10, you're going to get whatever that number is on the feminine side. So if you're a 2 in the masculinity sense, you're going to get a woman that's 2 in the feminine sense. And she's 8 in the masculine. Because we were created perfectly, bro. We really were. Like, it's a perfect dynamic between men and women. So if you're as a man lacking that leadership ability, controlling your desires, discipline, all these different aspects, the woman has to pick up on that. She has to. That's why, like, in a lot of relationships where there's a guy that's just like drinking and smoking and playing video games all day, the woman's up his ass. She's the one like trying to push him to be better and stuff, and she's nagging and she has to take responsibility for things. She's miserable because she's picking up the masculine essence that you're lacking. You get what I'm saying? So that's why the best way to get a good girl is really to improve yourself, get your masculinity to the maximum status possible, and you're naturally going to attract the best quality woman. And here's the thing too. Once you improve as a man, not only do you get a better woman, you get a way bigger variety of what you can even pick from, you know? Because there's no competition right now. There really isn't. It's insane. Every guy is just a fucking loser, bro. They're just losers. They're not trying. You don't even have to be rich and successful. A girl just needs to see you at least trying. That's it. She needs to see men invest into women's pasts. You don't want to be with some girl that's been with everyone. Women invest into a man's future. So if she thinks that you're going to be homeless or a bum or you're not going anywhere, she doesn't want to be with you. She's going to nag you or she's going to cheat on you at the end of the day. So if you can at least prove to her, bro, even if like you're playing video games, at least sell the fucking illusion that you're working or something, you know? If you're going to play video games once in a while, just don't let them see that. Even at the start of my entrepreneurial journey, when, I had a 2.4 GPA and my parents were up my ass for failing, once I made that mindset switch to be successful, I wouldn't let my mom see me, dicking around. Every time she walked into my room, I was journaling, I was reading, I was watching a business YouTube video, I was filming, I was trying something new because I wanted to be in good standing with my parents. Same thing with your partner. If you're in a situation where you don't want to be and you're wasting time playing video games or scrolling, that's the most unattractive thing in the world. It really is.
100%. Speaking of like your relationship with your mom, like how's it improved over the years since you've been more successful and, you've been, getting like more achievements? Like, how's it?
It's good, bro. It's nice being able to help, support your family. I definitely have a long way to go, but it's been good, The Mom Reacts videos were great. Yeah. It's weird once you get to that age where you move out and you kind of only go home for family holidays and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like once you're an adult and you're living on your own and like I have to fly to Florida to see mom, it's kind of crazy how that happens. Because there's a study where once you move out of your home at like 21 years old, you've spent 90% of, the time with your parents, 90% of it's gone. You spent 90% of the time with your mom by the time you're 21. It's just like, damn, bro,
Do you like share like your experiences, your lessons about like dating women, like with your content?
With my what content? Yeah. Well, I don't really believe in dating, to be honest. And it's just
that belief in itself. Like, do you like put it out there a lot?
That I don't believe in dating? Yeah, I mean, I say like if not to, bro. You can't just you can't just sleep with. I'm trying to think how to put it, bro. There's definitely a good analogy I could use.
There was this analogy that I remember someone was saying. It's like a tape. It's like the more you use that tape, the less it attaches to someone.
Yeah. I mean, definitely don't sleep around with women. Because, bro, then at the end of the day, too, like, it's not working. It's clearly not working. The divorce rate's over 50%. 50%. This talking stage and dating and then proposal and then you're married a year later. Like, you're committing sexual immorality that entire time. This is what, especially no offense, like to Catholics and stuff, what I don't understand is they'll plan a wedding for like a year later and like have sex all the way up until then. I'm like, if you're God fearing, like why don't you just get the religious aspect done so it's at least not sinning?
Well, I feel like that comes down to people again. Like, people are fallible. Like, they don't apply the religious things that they were supposed to do. They're not doing it.
But I'm just yet to see. I don't know, bro. I don't. I'm not trying to bash or anything like that. But for me personally, like when I'm married, like I don't give a shit about the cultural side of it. But wherever she's from and wearing this whatever, I don't care. I just want it good with God. That's all I care about. Yeah, yeah. You get a nikah. That's what it's called in Islam, where there's like male witnesses. You say like, are you gonna take care of this woman, this and that? I don't even know the whole thing. It takes 5 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like those foundational things with, like, marriage and dating, a lot of times it gets ignored. And I feel like that's the reason, I guess, like, like 50% divorce rate. I saw this statistic in Portugal, it's like 90% or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The simplest dating advice, like I don't talk about it a lot, but it's really just upgrading your character. That's it at the end of the day. Improving yourself, and then you're going to be able to get a higher quality woman, and there's going to be more options for women because men are all losers nowadays. So good women are dying for men with some balls.
Yeah, I feel like as you're, elevating yourself as a person, you get new ways of thinking, living, and like that's, I feel like, what actually keeps a relationship going. When you're improving yourself mentally, it shows with your actions, right? So like when you're doing the right habits, you don't do anything crazy, no, crazy parties, drugs, all this stuff. Like it just naturally fades away from your
Bro,
life.
I try not to even shake women's hands. Women love that shit. Because it's just like your aura goes so high, bro. Like when you value who you touch and your attention, it's every time you shake someone's hand, it's like a mini energy swap too. Yeah. When you really limit that, like it's like your Goku, your blood charges up more. And to women, that's so attractive, bro. When a man can control his lust and doesn't want to be like, where's my hug, bro? That shit is so unattractive. You're so desperate. It's just you're desperate and needy. It's disgusting. You're much better off just limiting your attention and who you give your energy to. And you're gonna get a better quality partner.
Like years ago, like I want to say this was like I was like 18, 19, and like it was like during the COVID times that the gyms reopened again. And then at that time I was like 2-3 years like off like prawn and all those weird content. And then I had this thing that when I was going to the gym, I had this thing I cannot look at girls. I would just intentionally look away or look down. I just zero attention to them. And it's funny because like it was just like constant stares at me. I would just not look. It was so weird. It's like the moment you don't give your attention, it comes to you.
Yep. And then when you want it, it's not there.
Yeah.
It's retarded, bro. So the best thing you could do is just not focus on it.
Yeah. How do you deal with like, I know you posted a lot of controversial content. How do you deal with controversy?
Like what? What are you thinking of?
I don't know, just like certain things that you say, like it's against like the common norms, like, oh, don't sleep outside of marriage, right? Or I don't know. Or if you're broke, you go to party, that's stupid. Like examples. I don't know if you ever said that, but I'm saying like examples.
Here's the thing, dude. Do you want to be like the majority of people in the comments that are consuming and scrolling all day? So if you're going to go against the grain, you're going to disagree with the majority of people about certain things. So it really is that simple. If you want to be a 1% man, you're going to have 1% takes. I don't know. Comments, like, a lot of them that comment hate and stuff, like you're straight NPCs to me. You're not even real people when I read your comments. I swear to God, that's what I think. Pardon my French. But yeah, talking like I've said, watching sports is a waste of time. Dude, it's the same shit every year. You win the championship. Okay. In 3 months, the season starts up again and you're watching every game. Like I just can't wrap my head around it. And it's like, I'm not saying never watch sports. Like I'll watch the championship games or whatever, but like to base your life around someone else, you're a feather in the wind. So then, people will be like, I love watching sports. It's just, like, okay, good for you. I don't know. You're going to be like, it's not my fault you're broke and unsuccessful and don't have a woman that respects you. Women don't want you, a guy that's fucking betting parlays. Oh my God, it's gonna hit. You look like an idiot. You look so stupid to them. I can't even articulate
100%,
how retarded I think those guys are.
Like I was born and raised in sports. I've played so many sports. I was watching sports religiously. Like, bro, before I came to America, I was watching Olympics, all the sports, taekwondo, basketball, like all the sports. I was deep into the sports. When I came to America, I was like mainly focused on football, soccer, like I was just watching that. I was making content about that. And the reason I even changed it was like, wait, why am I creating? I'm just supporting this bunch of other guys that are doing this they're playing their games, they're making money. What am I doing? I'm just watching a sport. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's fun here and there, but like, what am I getting? It's like no benefit. So for me, it's like this past 2 3 years, barely any sports. Maybe one game a month. That's like 5 minutes I watch, or maybe a highlight clip or reel here and there. That's about it. Like I completely went from this side to this side, and I feel like my life has improved significantly.
Yeah. Jason Tatum don't pay my bills, bro.
Exactly.
Tom Brady don't pay my bills.
Or when people argue, like they're just arguing, it's like the end of the world. They're arguing like, oh, like this guy's better, this guy. Who cares?
Yeah, you're arguing about other men too. That's the interesting thing is like once you become friends with celebrities and you see everyone's just a human that poops and pees and farts and when you see other people really just yapping about you guys nonstop, you're losers. You seem like losers, honestly. Like when people come up to me and they're like always asking, I don't know, bro. Just like yapping about other people way too much. It's just like you gotta lock in, bro.
100%. Yeah, I mean,
This guy doesn't even know you. The
yeah.
fuck?
Or celebrity culture. It's like there's worshiping the celebrities. Like,
Oh, cringe, dude. If you're women that worship celebrities too, you gotta stay away from them.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, most of them, it's really hard to find good influence for women, like influencers, that have positive impact.
Every woman podcast host is a hoe. Every woman podcast host has the most disgusting, vile takes in the world. It's like to hit even 1,000 subscribers, she needs to sit like this and talk about, how she got cream pied last night and all this disgusting stuff and went from this guy to the next guy. It's so vile. It's so vile. The only woman podcaster I think is good is Candace Owens and my mother. Every single other one is trash. And they're just a terrible influence to women. Like, if you're talking to a girl that follows like Alex Earl and Call Her Daddy or any of that garbage, dude, you're just asking for a divorce. You're begging to get cheated on.
I feel like with those type of content, like especially, I feel like as a man, you need to be able to either have a woman that like follows your mental framework, your values and your principles, or someone adaptable enough to learn from you, right? But I feel like if it doesn't work out, like most of the times it comes down to that because your actions are from your mental framework. Like, oh, you wearing like, I don't know, like a slutty outfit. It's not, slutty outfit isn't the problem. It's the mental attitude, the mental framework. If you had the mental framework, that wouldn't happen. So I feel like one thing that religion does good is like providing that mental framework.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, definitely. Look, bro, at the end of the day, like, I feel like everyone needs Islam. I'm not even afraid to say it. Like, when you make a car, you make an instruction manual, right? How do you operate this? I truly believe that the Quran is that direct instruction manual from our Creator. Like I told you, we believe it's like the literal first person perfectly preserved word of God. Think about that for a second. Like the Creator of the sun, where if it's a little bit further, we freeze. If it's a little bit closer, we burn to death. That Creator that made this, if it wasn't from that Creator, there would certainly be tons of false predictions and contradictions inside of it. It invites you, the Quran, to try to disprove it. If this were not from your Lord, surely it would be filled with mistakes. Honestly, I'll just keep it real, bro. Because it's like, I feel like if you truly do want the best marriage possible, you need like having Islam there to fall back on. It's one of the best things in the world. Because it's literally the guidebook from your Creator on how to operate. If you fall into sexual immorality, how to repent properly, get on good terms, how to protect yourself from the unseen world. That's another thing, dude. So many people just are like getting straight tampered with by jinn and stuff, especially when you drink. It's called spirits for a reason, dude.
Yeah. I feel like you can't go wrong, like, following like religion, the principles that they teach. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of the times, I wish just people were like, they were more able to stick to religion properly. And I feel like a lot of the times, you wouldn't believe, but there's like, I know a lot of religious people that from all sorts of religions, like Christianity, Islam. I've been in Iran, in America, Jewish people. It's like on paper, they're religious, but they're not really living religiously. And I feel like if you're really practicing that, you need to be able to do it fully, go all in on that, because like, most of the times it doesn't reflect well on the religion itself. Because like when people like sin or like they kill or they steal, they're like, oh, it's because of this religion or that religion. But in reality, it's like, oh, it's the person. You are making that religion look bad,
Yeah, of course. Like these women with Bible quotes in their bio, like it's not Christianity that's making them hoes. They're just being hoes, you know? I would never say that like Christianity teaches you to do any of that stuff because it's just lying. The same way when people say Islam teaches you to be a terrorist and all these different things, you're just literally lying because the book tells you you are going to hell if you do any of that stuff. If you hit your wife, you are going to hell. It's that simple, you know? If you kill an animal unjustly, you're going to hell. Unless you like sincerely repent and mean it. And how do you know your repentance is accepted? You better pray to God it is. With your full heart. The way for your repentance to truly be accepted is you have to mean it in your heart, which only God knows what's in your heart. And you have to hate that sin, meaning like you are not proud of what you did. You're not boasting about it online, like what all these caller daddy hoes are doing. I got 3 different baby daddies. It's disgusting. And you have to truly work at not doing that sin anymore. That's the way that your repentance can be accepted from my understanding of it. That just makes sense too, you know? You can't just like, oh, I'm sorry, and then keep doing it every single day.
I feel like apologizing or repenting, I think it's doesn't really mean anything if you don't change, right?
Yeah, of course.
I feel like a lot of people just fall back into like, I'm gonna apologize, repent, or this and that, like, but they don't change. Like, who cares if you're not gonna change? Like, make that change. That's the most important thing. I want to go back to your content journey. Who's been like some of your like biggest inspirations?
Biggest inspirations in content. I mean, Sneako's been a really big impact on the way I create content. Just being around him. You know, you obviously, you naturally become like an outcome of who you're around. So, you know, the amount of time I spent around him, it's just made me a better filmmaker and allowed me to articulate myself better. I mean, Bia Heza was one of the first people that I watched. Do you know who that is? Yeah. He was one of the first people that I watched when I was getting into the entrepreneurial space. Graham Stephan was pretty influential on me. Those are like the start of my journey. Obviously, Andrew Tate was a really big inspiration for me. Who else? I'm trying to think of like a top 5. I mean, I've been watching a lot of Casey Neistat lately. I think his videos are awesome.
What have you learned from, let's just say, the people that you've hung out with? Like, you know, they were inspirations for you, but when you saw them in person and you've hung out with them, like you were like, oh, this trait is like one of the reasons why he's like performing really well, or certain mindsets or habits, you know?
Yeah, I'd say you just realize like they're just normal people. Like if this guy can do it, there's literally no reason that I can't as well. You know, that's a big thing for sure. Like I've seen the behind the scenes of, you know, Sneeko making his short films and stuff like that. You just see how he does it, and you're just like, oh, it's not that crazy. You write it, you film it, you edit it. Like, you know, you don't have to overcomplicate everything.
Any mental traits that you've noticed?
Any mental traits? Something that Sneeko does specifically that I've adopted is there's something to take away from everyone, you know? So it doesn't matter if you're talking to the most successful, poor, whatever person in the entire world. Whatever conversation you have with that person, there's something you can take away from it, whether it's a point that you mention in a video or, you know, a line for a script in a movie or a lesson that you can be learned from it. You can take something away from anything as long as you keep your brain on. It's the same thing, like I said, with when you're consuming content. If you switch from being a consumer to like you're studying when you're scrolling reels, and all right, so let's say you see a video of someone promoting their music, you bookmark that into the music folder. Someone promoting their cooking, you promote it, you put it there. If there's something that's like could be a good video idea for you to make, you bookmark it into your video idea folder. That way, every scroll, you're analyzing. You're not just consuming brainlessly. And like I said, it's the same thing with any interaction you have with people. So I'm perfectly comfortable spending some time with my hometown friends, not to be a successful entrepreneur with them, but because I can get some normal people dialogue that I can, you know, take in that aura and use that to be more relatable, to write in my short films and stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. There's always things you can learn from and pick up on from everybody.
Yeah. That's definitely the biggest thing. Because, like, the reason I like watching Sneeko's videos so much is because after we hang out in a day, it's like his art that he makes, it's just summarizing our day together. Like, what we talked about and stuff. Conversations that I forgot. Like, they just went out of my head. He remembered and put that in the video. So now, whenever I have a good thought or any point that, you know, pops into my head, I just write it down in my notes. I keep my notes very organized. That way, you know, if I'm filming a video or doing anything or about to go on a podcast, I can run through that, see some points that I want to mention, and hit those.
Yeah, I've seen like in some of your videos you were saying that, you know, have like a little note section in your phone, like to-do list, or when you're bored, what you're gonna put in, like, or some ideas and quotes that you want to put in.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like that's a very useful thing because, like, let's just say if you get like a video idea, you put it there, like, okay, I can always go back to this and put something on my calendar to do. There's always things to do. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like one of the things that people kind of waste their time is like they just don't know what to do.
Okay, so like for my pinned notes on my phone, I have my brain dump, which is anything I think of, my to-do list, which is like my daily to-do list and like just the massive list of shit I have to do. I have my content tasks, meaning like stuff that I can do content related, like film a video, schedule a podcast, fill up my B-roll drive, write a short film, film a raw reel, blah, blah, blah. YouTube video ideas, and then board tasks, which is like when I don't know what to, like how no matter who you are, there's times of day where you're just like, what do I do with my time right now? Like what my free will, what do I do? So I wrote down like a bunch of different things that I can come back to keep me in check, like check my to-do list, read, meditate, work out, do some push-ups, blah, blah, blah. So it's really helpful. And like, on my brain dump, the three most recent points, I'll read you them. How an elevator mechanic told me how the door close button is legit connected to nothing. Like I can talk about that in a video. That's probably a viral clip. Once you become complacent with scrolling, you're not going to make it. As long as you have guilt, you still have a chance. And then daily reminder that all the hoes you see on Instagram are chopped in person. Those are the three most recent brain dumps I had. Like they're just thoughts that popped in my head and I just write them down,
Yeah, that's a very good way to go about it because, like, a lot of the times you get crazy ideas and thoughts and quotes. Like, if you don't record it, it just fades away. It's gone.
Bro, you'd be amazed. I feel like anyone could be a stand-up comedian too. Like as long as you make someone laugh at least once a month, if you just wrote down what made them laugh, and then over the course of a year, you have 12 jokes that made someone laugh. And then all you have to do is make those transition and maybe like, the fourth joke come back and relate to the first one, and you're good. You have a stand-up skit. You know what I'm saying? But people just keep operating from this sense of just leaves in the wind, not controlling their life at all.
Yeah, very unintentional.
Yeah, very unintentional. Just hoping some shit comes their way. I think that's even a problem with a lot of Muslims is like they'll just pray and just like hope shit changes without actually doing anything to change it. Like give me money and stuff, but you're not working. You're not working. God, personally, I feel the closest to God when I'm giving things up for the sake of God, meaning like if I'm getting DMs and I'm not responding to them, like those hoes or whatever, I'm not drinking, I'm not going out, I'm giving things up for the sake of Allah. Prosciutto, I gave up gabagool for the sake of Allah. And when I'm working really hard, when I'm truly working my hardest and living up to my fullest potential, that's when I feel closest with the Creator. And I think that's where a lot of people are messing up, is they're just, praying and doing that stuff. But it's also a tool, It's like you follow Islam, but like it's a tool in a sense to get you closer to the Creator. So you have to use the most of that. Like you have to look deep into things. You have to look deep into things to really take the most of it. It's that simple, bro. And working hard and being entrepreneurial and throwing yourself into the deep end is a major part of that. Like, if you truly believe that God will always provide for you a house and food, like most religions teach you, then why wouldn't you try and go after your dream? Why wouldn't you try? It doesn't click for me at all. Like, why wouldn't you at least start a TikTok or start a YouTube if that's what you want to do? Just do it, Burn the boats. Go all in. Honestly, don't have a plan B. Fuck your college degree. When I went into college, I knew I wasn't finishing because I was posting multiple TikToks a day. I was working. I was putting in the work. So I knew that it was only a matter of time simply before I made it. And I didn't have to. And literally 3 months into college, made $1 million.
Yeah. Your heart always feels like, am I in it for this, or you're just wasting time? Your heart knows.
I knew that when I was in college, it was rent. I was like, I'm just here, so I don't have to live at home, and so I can have some freedom. That was my mindset with it.
I was going to college too, and I had the exact same thing. I was like, I know I'm not going to finish. Eventually, I dropped out, so I was like, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah. But it's like, if you threw yourself into the deep end of a pool, you wouldn't just drown. You would figure out how to swim and stay afloat. If you throw yourself into the deep end with, okay, I'm only going to make money in an entrepreneurial sense, you are inevitably going to figure it out. You're not going to drown. It's impossible. It's literally, I don't think this is what people understand though, is that it's literally impossible. And eventually you will make money with it, you know?
When you have to, you will.
When you exactly, like when you have to, you will. So just make that your only option. Especially after you make some money online and you see that it's possible. Like you've made money with TikTok Shop as a TikTok Shop creator. Not insane amounts of money, but you've made decent money with it. Once you see that, you're just like, okay, if I make my videos better and post more, this can make me $100,000 a month. Like there's no limit to how much it can make you. It's just how good your stuff is and how much you work. So why wouldn't someone go all in on that, you know? Not being a TikTok Shop creator specifically, but anything, literally anything.
I think authenticity is like the most valuable gift we have, because everybody's like is blessed with a different gift, different ability. And I feel like the most alive, the most passionate, the most creative when you feel is like when you're authentic, when you do what you want, but not necessarily doing like degenerate activities, but in the sense of like following your true purpose. It comes like, it just flows, everything flows. Like whenever you're making content, whenever you're like doing scripts, it just flows out of you. It's authentic for you, you know? Like some people, you know, I don't know, they're told to go, I don't know, it's like the smallest example, right? Oh, you have to go to college, right? Everybody says that you have to go to college. But like they don't ask, okay, what if this is not what I believe? It's like somebody has ingrained this in my mind, right? They don't think by themselves. They're like, oh, maybe this is what I want, not what they want.
Well, the ridiculous thing with college nowadays is it doesn't even guarantee you safety. You're going for safety, but you'd be safer trusting yourself and God that it's going to work out than trusting that some corporation where you're literally a number on a spreadsheet to them is going to keep you. I'm telling you, I run a business. If someone's unprofitable or they're not saving me time and money, you get rid of them. You know? I mean, I obviously care about all my people that are on my team very much, but like at the end of the day, I'm still running a business. Like if you're not doing a good job and you're fucking up and you're being lazy, just because we're friends, you're gone, you know? Or if like the business takes a big hit and I can't afford you, what am I gonna do? Go into debt to pay you? Like you can't do that.
Yeah, I feel like at some point you have to take that personal responsibility to like, okay, you know what? This is what I want. It's gonna come with sacrifices and certain judgments, but at least you know you went for what you want.
Yeah. And here's the thing, with the people that are in my company, I call them entrepreneurs, okay? Because when I hire someone, I don't just give them tasks and make them a robot. I tell them the vision of what their role is, what their goals are, and I expect them to bring to the table more things that they can do to make that aspect of the company better. So if I hire you as, you know, my community manager, I expect you to come to me with new ideas to keep your creators incentivized, keeping the chats more active, keeping more people in the calls, etc. If I onboard you as a brand manager, I'll sell you the vision and the goal of what needs to get done, and you need to bring stuff that will achieve that goal. So that's usually how I hire employees, is I'll have like the base tasks that they need to get done, and they'll send me a weekly report on how those are going, and then they have the goal, and if they're not bringing more stuff to the table than what I presented them, they're off the team. Because you end up knowing that role better than I can. You know, you see it, you're in the day-to-day. So you should be able to tell me, like, you know, this isn't really working, this needs to be tweaked a bit. And quite frankly, I don't like hiring people that even went to college because they're too much in the aspect of they need to be told everything to do. I can't stand that. I don't want to have to tell you everything to do. You know, you should be able to see your job and be like, okay, this isn't working. This needs to be fixed. A lot of employees are like, my boss is retarded, and they're just complaining about their boss. When if that was a company that their goal was truly to be as successful as possible, you would present something to your boss that's being done retarded, and then you guys would fix that so it runs smoother.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're saying just do that extra bit more. Show more for your what you like, not the basic, but do more.
Yeah, if people don't like show more, then they're off the team. And the way I pay people is if they do more, they get paid more. Not like overtime rates and shit, but like genuinely, if you save me time or you make the business more money, you naturally make a percentage of that money that you're making the business. Whatever your value is. Like, let's say you come to me as my editor, and your videos are fire. We're getting 100,000 views a video, getting a bunch of creators inside, we're printing, then I would naturally pay you more because you're becoming worth more, you know? everyone on my team knows the better they do, like the higher they're going to get paid.
Based on performance.
Based on performance, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the best way to do it.
100%.
Because it's like, it's your company too, at the end of the day. I'm not just going to fire you for no reason. I would never do that. Especially if you're working hard and making the business more money. You just become a bigger and more pivotal part of it.
Do you feel like as you grow, you know, with your company, do you feel like you still are able to like maintain those standards, or you feel like it's gonna maybe drop a bit? Because I feel like if you look at, let's just say, big companies and corporations, especially in the beginning, they're like usually able to keep that bigger vision. Everybody's kind of following that because like it's a small group, but as it grows, it's harder to manage. Have you experienced that as your team is growing, or you feel like it's still doable?
No, I'd say it's still doable. I'm getting pretty good at outsourcing. Like there's about a dozen people on my team right now, and it's built like a pyramid, you know? Like this person, so first off, the person below me, my COO, I've like basically trained their brain to be like mine. So any decision that I would make, they're making that too. You get what I'm saying? So it's like Mr. Beast does this really well. Like you have someone, they stick with you for 6 months straight. They see every decision that you would make and why, and they essentially become a clone of yourself. And then they're able to handle the people below them. They make another clone, etc. So, you know, I make sure to stay on top of everything. I still check everything. Like I'll read all my creators that come into affiliate. They get their own one-on-one channels with a coach. So they have like their own one-on-one coach until they go through the training process and finish their orientation. I'll read through the one-on-one channels to make sure that's getting done properly. I'll check like the creator chat. I'll join the calls of the other coaches that are hosting it to make sure it's all being done right. So I still like, you know, even Mr. Beast, I think he's a really good example of a businessman because he goes to all the Walmarts and checks the boxes where Feastables are. You know, he goes and restocks them himself. I think that's awesome. And we have plenty of time in the day, bro. Like, seriously, everyone scrolls so much that you have time to check in on like the actual day-to-day of how your business is going still. You know, I'm not Subway. I don't have 1,000 different stores. I have 12 employees. It's doable to check in with people. And every Sunday, I make sure to like quick FaceTime to everyone on my team. And then we also have a weekly like check-in with everyone.
No, that's a very good smart.
Just to keep that glue fresh, you know?
Exactly. What's like a business fundamental principle that you've learned over the years that it's like, no matter what direction you're going, no matter what industry you're going, you're like, I'm going to keep that in my mind?
That's a good question. Really building a business that solves problems and helps make people money. If you can make people money and their lives better, you're naturally going to print, you know? Like, for example, like when you come to me and you learn how to be a TikTok shop creator, you get everything you need to know to be successful. And then I connect you with brands so we make more money together. It's just like, it's perfect. It's a perfect business model in that sense. So,
and also you over deliver with your product, because I've seen in your the WAP, besides the TikTok stuff and the TikTok shop stuff and the virality videos, you also have like self-development videos, diet, health, mindset, like those things are built on top of that, so
yeah, no, I don't even sell that aspect of it at all. The first videos that people so when people join my company affiliate, they have to go through a training process to get salary with brands. And the first videos they watch is about literally mindset. They have an hour-long video course on how to fix their life. Because what I noticed is a lot of people would come in and like they'd watch the TikTok shop stuff, but they'd be posting for 2 days and quit. I was like, all right, these people, we need to fix like their actual habits to get them more consistent as creators. So their first assignments are to get a journal, write down their annual goals, monthly goals. I teach them how to fix the notes on their phone, so that's more optimal. How to like optimize their phone too, with getting like, an app blocker. If you have to delete apps, doing that, all that stuff. They have to go through all that before they even see anything about TikTok Shop.
Building the foundations.
Yeah. All right, so that business fundamental, and also building incentive structures for people. So everyone on your team needs to feel like it's their company. Like I said, where the harder people work, they understand the vision that they'll be getting paid more, and it's worth their time to put more effort in.
So you're very big on them being aligned with your vision.
Very big on that. Yeah. And you have to be really confident as a leader. You know, you can't have any doubts or be crying and pissing and moaning, you know.
Do you feel like your leadership skills improved over time?
Definitely. Yeah. 100%. You have to be on it.
What made it, I guess, help you to get better at it? What were certain situations, certain lessons that you noticed?
Just failing at it, honestly, and making mistakes. You learn different things.
Do you feel like that your inner confidence has a huge role to play in it?
Definitely. You have to be confident as a leader. Even if you're not confident, you have to be confident. You have to. You know, even if you don't see the vision fully, you have to sell it.
That energy with that conviction, I think a lot when you bring that, like a lot of people follow you, you know?
Yeah, and then everything ends up running smoother. It's like a good logical move to make to just be confident, even if you're not. Because then everyone works harder and you're still moving in a better direction. If you're not confident and you say you're not confident, then everybody's going to be like, and then you're actually not going to get shit done.
100%. I feel like, let's just say, if you say 1 + 1 is 2, like people are like, oh yeah, 1 + 1 is 2. But if you say 1 + 1 is, you know, maybe 2, 3, like that's like you already like give that doubt. So like, oh, is it 2 or is it 3?
Yeah. Another thing about me as a leader is like I consider everyone's opinion. So I'll never brush anyone off for whatever they say. I'll listen and take everything to account and then logically decide if that's the right course of action or not, you know? So people always understand that they can come to me with whatever, be like, yo, this system could be running a bit better. This could be doing a bit better. This sucks. What do we have to fix? All the time. Even from my own students and creators, I always ask them, like, what do you think could be better for how, like, you know, your learning process went? I gave a bunch of people free access to the program too, just to go through it and like take notes down of what could be better.
I mean, you've asked me multiple times too, you know, so
Yeah.
you apply what you say.
Yeah, I've done that with you as well. Not being afraid to take feedback, you know?
100%.
Arrogance, you got to be an idiot to be arrogant.
External feedback always helps because like there's always like certain ways people see and rationalize things that's like, oh, I didn't know this exists. I can apply.
And like I said, everyone can give good feedback. Exactly. Literally everyone. Like I gave access to my hometown friends, and you know he was going through the course and said things he liked and disliked and stuff to tweak. And some of the stuff he said was just like, you know, I just brushed it off because it wasn't like great feedback. But some of it was good. You know, it just depends. Even when I make short films and stuff, I personally like showing it to a bunch of different people to get their different perspectives and see like what resonates with this person, with that person. And, you know, it's very easy to tell when people get disconnected from watching a video or a conversation. You know, they start looking at their phones or they look away. So you're like, oh, all right, I lost someone's attention there. Got to fix that.
It's crazy how much different parts of life can teach you, you know, like even with content, you know, with business, with relationships, family, everything connects. Like I mean, they're separate, but like most of it like just connects. Like if you're able to see the dots, that everything is just like, you know, how it's interconnected, I feel like you're able to take so much more wisdom out of it. Like you can, let's just say, apply certain principles that apply to fitness to business or to relationships or to handling your diet. Like there's so many aspects that the way you look at it, it's like the things that you absorb from it, they can always apply to different things. And as you said, if you ask, let's just say, certain feedbacks from people, they're conditioned with a certain mindset, a certain way of thinking and seeing the world. And that one extra feedback can change the trajectory of your life.
It's crazy. Everything connects. Everything connects.
So what's like a piece of advice you were going to give to someone that just say they're starting with their content creation journey, they don't have much experience and they don't have necessarily a big vision, but they know they want to start creating content because they know it's like a huge wave, there's a lot of opportunities there. How would they go about their first move?
I'd say to switch your dopamine point from the results you get to the input. So rather than getting, you know, happy from seeing an amount of views, get happy from the work that you're putting in. Yeah. So instead of 1 million views, you posted 100 videos. That's what should make you happier. Because if you just put in the work, it will inevitably work out. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't control the result necessarily, but you can control what you do to get that result. So if you switch your point of dopamine to the work you're putting in from where that takes you, it's naturally going to take you there and further quicker.
So you're saying focus on the process.
Focus on the process, yeah. Focus on like the work that you're actually doing and enjoying it, you know? Close your eyes and imagine you have all your XP bars around you of your editing and your filming and your storytelling ability, and see those going up with every single video that you make.
That's a great way to put it, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you,
the,
bro.
The viewers learned a lot, and I learned a lot too. So
No, thank you, bro.
appreciate it, man. Great.
My boy.